Welcome back to the Cookie Chat. We're just two basic bakers letting loose and keeping it real over here on the YouTube. Thank you for stopping by. We talk everything small business, baking, mom life, just a mix of it all. If this is your first time over here on YouTube, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you could be the first to know when we post a new video, because we post weekly and we love our little time over here. But I am Chelsea with Rolling in the Dough AZ, and this is
Melissa with Missy P Sweets. Hey, y'all.
Hey. All right. You know what? It is summertime still. I think we're all in that summertime blues of almost counting down the days,
We love summer here. We celebrate summer. If you didn't notice, my husband grew up in Miami, so he's all about the heat and everything. But his schedule doesn't change as much as mine does, and I love the easy mornings. I can handle it. I can handle not having a schedule for about a month, and then I start to get okay, we're ready for some schedule over here.
I feel like as a mom, though, running a small business is that you get into the summertime schedule, and then back to school happens. But then you get back to school schedule, but then it's fall break and then Christmas. There's always an interruption in it. So I don't ever feel like there is a steady schedule. I'm there's my everyday school schedule. There's my break schedule. There's my summer schedule. So.
I know. We're already coming up on, my husband was like, wow, I have a 4-day weekend this week. And I'm like, because weekends means no work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a lot to get done before a 4-day weekend for me.
I know. It's always hard for me when my husband has the day off, because I'm just because you have the day off doesn't mean I have the day off, because my orders get backed up. So it's always an adjustment. But you know what? This week, I think we're going to keep it easy. And we asked you guys over on our Instagram page, if you are not following along there, that is the social media that we frequent the most for real life updates and stories and reels. We asked you guys some questions that you wanted, or just a little Q&A. What do you want to know? So Melissa, what did they want to know?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we have not really glanced at these too much.
I have no idea what's coming.
You're going to get our immediate true answers here. Okay. So I feel do we share names? Do we share handles?
I say skip it just in case someone doesn't.
All right, we're keeping it.
You know who you are.
And also, because we haven't glanced at these too much, we don't want to out anybody if they ask something awkward. So
I don't know what's coming.
Okay, this one says, how do I create a healthy balance as a part-time cookie maker and full-time breadwinner? Chelsea.
Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. Let me process that. Part-time cookier. Full-time breadwinner. So I'm assuming.
Feel let me say, so at one time you were doing this, right? You were working full-time corporate and you were doing part-time cookie maker. Yes. Do you feel, be honest with yourself, that you had a healthy balance during that time in your life?
In all honesty, I think healthy balance is going to be different for each season. So I think in doing both, I had a good balance in order to meet the deadlines that I needed to meet. Would I say it was the healthiest balance when you look back on everything? No, because something has to give. If you're giving full-time to your work and full-time to your side gig hustle, what is going away? Because there's so many glass balls and plastic balls, and the plastic ones for me ended up being health and sleep and all of that. So did that realm thrive? Absolutely not. Was my business and all of that? Yep. So I think it's a juggle of what means the most to you. But the healthy limit of it is, and this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, is if you are the full-time breadwinner, it's where's the money at? And if that is your steady corporate job, then how can you still bring in that extra cookie money so you feel fulfilled, yet not stretch thin in other areas? So I think there needs to be more context of that. Are you a mom? Are you this? Because again, it's just where that priority lays. And again, sometimes there's 100% times where my husband is I guess I got it all. You go do your thing. So I mean, bless him for that. He's always like, when can I be a stay-at-home dad and you can just like run the world? I'm like,
Oh my gosh, we
what?
talk about that every now and then. I'm like, do you ever like think about what it would be like to be a stay-at-home? He's like, all the time.
I love their
Oh, he's
answers
like
on that.
ready to retire. And I'm like, no, I am not ready for you to
Then you just flip it. That's in your
retire.
time to like.
I don't think that's how he views retirement for himself.
Tommy's retirement is
I think
literally.
he would probably want me to be involved with a lot of that.
Oh yeah, no, mine would be flipped on that. So I do think
Yeah.
the go ahead. What do you have to add to this?
Well, okay, so I have not been in this position. So my perspective is from an outsider looking in. If I'm thinking, I am a very solutions driven person. You give me a problem, I'm going to figure out how we solve that problem. So for me, what I would say is think back to before you had your part-time business. So when you just had your corporate business, what was life like? Like if you were just going to your 9 to 5, what was life like? Did you enjoy your balance of that? Whatever you were doing outside of work, did you enjoy your balance of that? And where were there spaces to fill it with something? And I would say whatever was bringing you joy during that time before this business, keep that and make sure that you hold that secret and have time for that. Wherever there was space, quantify that. How many hours in a day, how many hours in a week was it that you had space, that you were just sitting and watching TV, or, maybe you were dating a lot and now you have a boyfriend, so you don't need all that extra dating time, whatever. Quantify that. Is that 10 hours a week? All right. How many cookies can you fit into that 10 hours a week? And leave it at that. I promise you are going to burn out. If you're asking this, then obviously you're like, help me, how is there a healthy balance in here? So obviously you're needing some help. So, I mean, what does that make sense to you, Chelsea?
It makes sense if you're single. Yes. I don't think that makes as much sense if you have a family and kids, because then you're like, oh my gosh, if you are the breadwinner, the more money you can bring in, like you're just banking for your family. So I think it's a whole different sense of it.
Is important.
The why. And that's that's like said, what are you willing to drop? Are you willing to drop the social life? Are you willing to drop certain things? Or do you have unhealthy habits? Like that type of thing. So I think it kind of goes like marinates with what you're saying, like when you mix them together. But it's sometimes it doesn't, no, you're not alone. It doesn't always feel black and white. You're like, So, and then again, if you're what are you trying to do with this cookie business? Is it just a hobby? Is it just something so you have a creative outlet, or is your end game to leave corporate? Because I feel like those also make two different, because I was in the mindset that this season is going to be hard. This is going to be rough. I'm going to have to, but on the other side is freedom. So, hopefully that helps.
Good call. Do you have these questions in front of you, or am I the question reader?
You are the question reader. Yeah, I'm like, I have none, so I don't know what's coming our way.
Okay. Thoughts on porch pickups? COVID cases rising here and thinking of switching to porch pickups. So if you haven't already, pop up here. It will have aired by this time. I'll make sure of it. Check out our pickups episode. We did a whole episode on just stresses of pickups, how we handle pickups, tips on porch pickups and things. I personally love a porch pickup. Chelsea only does porch pickups pretty much, unless it's holiday. That's a whole different ballgame for you.
Right.
I really need Tommy, next time you have holiday pickups of that magnitude, he needs to video it. Like, I mean, we need to see this, and I want it documented, not just for us, but for you.
I know I need to designate somebody for it. It depends on the holiday. Tommy will do the ones here because I have 2 different pickup locations.
You should have your brother who's like in production and stuff, dude.
I know, it's the craziest. Like, and that's where I always think of that. Like, I try and film like the setup and stuff, but then I'm like, once the actual pickup starts, I'm like, it's just like all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah.
And
I want like a real life, true reality show version.
I was just gonna say
we need multi-camera. and we need somebody back with you stressing out. We
Oh
need
my
somebody
gosh,
with the
maybe I should do in one of the holidays, like a reality show-esque on,
yes.
like, day in the life, like,
It
with
would
Tommy.
be yes, we've got to. That would be so
Y'all would be
funny.
probably entertained, like, "Oh gosh, this is how
Yeah.
the."
Okay, moving on to more tactical question. How long do you let your cookies fully dry before packaging? Overnight for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be different per
Where
state
you
because
are.
I get this question a lot from people
Yeah.
that ask. I live in a dry, no humidity area. It's typically about 3 to 5% humidity unless we're in crazy storm season.
Mhm.
So mine dry relatively fast. Like I would say probably within 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's like solid because there's nothing keeping it moist. But you live in a humid climate.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, more humid one. I'm in North Texas area. So humidity is like the biggest killer to why they may not be drying all the way, why they might be sticking to your bags. So if you are in a humid area, highly suggest a dehumidifier. I have one over in this corner over here. They're not always the cheapest. I think it's like maybe a couple $100s or something.
mhm.
But depending on what I'm sure you can get cheaper ones, get a used one, something, but a dehumidifier. Anytime it is raining here in the summer, I don't have to as much. In the summer, for me, I have to more so worry about after I package them, how to make sure to keep them. I have to keep them in a cool area. So my cookie room gets really hot in the summer just because of the way that it faces. So I have to make sure that I am like moving them to another area where there's plenty of AC because, yeah, if they do get hot, even if there's not humidity in there, cookies will start to stick to the packages
Yeah.
and things like that. You can also dust them with cornstarch. It helps even if you haven't painted or airbrushed anything or done gold. Just give them a dust of cornstarch. It helps like soak up any moisture that could be there and give you just another layer between the bags. And my final thing is if they're not drying or if they are crumbling, look at how you're making your icing. It could be overmixed. Overmixing your
Hmm.
icing, it activates the meringue. It overactivates the meringue powder and just makes it squishy to where it just isn't going to dry. Like if you push your finger in it, it's just going to bend. So those are my tips. You
Nailed
gals
it.
are awesome, somebody said. Well,
Oh,
thank
thanks.
you. Okay, I have a three-parter.
Oh, goodness.
Mhm. Okay, this is okay. I like this topic. All right. So it's three parts because it's Instagram only lets you
Oh, do so many. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
say so much in the comment box. So it's all one question. All right. I just had 8 dozen, and that's been my busiest week this year. I about lost my mind and had several breakdowns near the end of the week. I feel like that's not as much compared to some people. How do you do it?
Do you wanna start that?
Yeah, first off, don't compare to what other people can do or are doing. We talked about this in our previous mom life episode, and you just don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I mean, Chelsea
Mhm.
and I had followed each other for what, at least a year or two before we connected about the cookie chat. And she didn't know I was a part time baker until we started really talking about doing the cookie chat. So you just don't know.
Mhm.
You don't know what somebody's life is. A lot of times I get shocked that somebody is like, "You're a teacher as well?" Like I didn't. I always get shocked more so that they like have a full time career outside of cookies than anything.
Mhm.
Um, so and also you don't know what speed somebody works at.
That is the biggest, like, oh.
Yes. Yeah, you just don't know what speed. And I remember seeing, well, we've interviewed Ashley. I'll link our episode to Ashley. You've probably seen her on Christmas Cookie Challenge. She's the owner of Sweet Dough Cookie Company. Um, and she apparently, I've never seen her work in person, but I've seen her work on the Christmas Cookie Challenge. And comparatively, I'm like, holy moly, that is really a lot and really good. And she said she didn't know that she was a fast cookier because she was just on her own, doing her own stuff. And she's like, I had no idea that I was fast until I think it was until she went to CookieCon or something like that. And they did like a decorating competition at that. And she's like, I had no idea.
You
Apparently I'm really
don't.
fast at this. And yeah, but you don't know.
And I think that it's hard because when people hear like how many dozen I'll take a week, that's always the thing is how, what, like that's not possible. That's this. And I'm like, again, same thing as I didn't realize how much I can get done in a short period of time. Like to me, like flooding a tray of cookies, or again, I get asked this for Christmas cookie challenge. Like, what's the key to winning? Speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
100% speed is how fast you can do things. So I think it's different because some people will come back to the set. Like Melissa says, I walk away from it and we'll come back and add some details here and then maybe take a break and think, oh, how can I do this and come back? And when you take on more dozens, you don't have that luxury because truthfully, you have like 2-3 days to get everything done. So you're like, zone out, get it done, bust it out as fast as you can. As far as how do you manage? I mean, everybody has breakdowns. There's weeks that I'm like, why? I just had another busy week and I'm like, why did I do that again? So I think getting down your system, and it's going to look different than everybody. And that's where you can't compare it because I'll share like how I do my week or structure it. And people are like, that makes no sense, but it makes sense to me.
Right.
So, and that's all that matters is at the end of the day, does it make sense to you? Can you get the orders out and are you happy with the orders?
Yeah.
Boom. Who cares what anybody else says?
Yeah. And there's definitely tips. We are pretty soon after this episode, we will have an episode on workflow and just tips and tricks of like, you know, if you have, and we'll talk through, and I think we've talked through our workflow a little bit before. I don't remember exactly which episode. Just binge all of our episodes and you'll find it.
We have highlights on our Instagram also of a day in the life.
We do. And we should do another of that.
And updated.
Because I know that you guys like that and that's helpful. So maybe around when we do our workflow episode, we'll do some day in the life stuff. But I think there definitely are tips to making your workflow more reasonable, using icing. I mean, just so many things. And I would also say too, everybody's creative process is different. It takes me, I like to sketch ahead of time. I like to sketch things out. Chelsea doesn't sketch. Some people do Procreate and like do the entire thing. So it's just everybody's process is different. But I would say if that stressed you out, you know your limits and like maybe that's not a good like quantity for you. Maybe you need to scale back, like find your happy medium because what we don't want is burnout.
No, and it really depends on your theme too. If you have really heavy detailed themes or character cookies or things like that, like those are going to take more time. So sometimes there's a week that I can do 15, 16 dozen and I even feel like, oh my gosh, this is not even close to my like capability, but they're super detailed sets and it took me just as long to do those as it did when I would do 25 dozen. So it's really, I think, knowing the themes, knowing your max capacity. And if 8 was too much and you were like, but I want to push myself, what's your comfortability where like I could do that in my sleep? If it's 4, the next week, maybe add 5.
Yeah.
Get 5 mastered and then add 6 or 7. And then just if you're trying to build, keep building in that sense, but you have to master the basics before you jump to the end. You can't just go to the end and say, I'm going to torture myself and one day I'm going to master. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So,
and I always preach too, creativity is a muscle. And so I think the more that you do, I mean, it stresses me out to think about how many Chelsea does. But if I were, because my creative flow, like I've mastered how my creative flow works for my like, 6 to 10 dozen. But if I were put in the place of where it's like, okay, no, you are full-time and this is how much time you have in a week, the more that you do it and the more that you get in a groove of like how to like put sets together and things like that, that process becomes easier too, I think.
Yeah, that definitely does. And then you're like, Melissa does it differently. Like she'll sit and do a set from start to finish, like one set until it's done. And that works for some people. That does not work for me. I do it in steps, like flood all.
Yeah.
Decorate this, decorate that. Like, and then it's done. So I can hop from like one set and then an hour later, like I could be doing beautiful tulips. And then the next hour later, I could be doing Disney cars.
And for me, my mind is like, does not compute.
Right. Right. So don't compare yourself to how others do it because Some people can switch. Some
Yeah.
people can do a tray and then do a tray of another. I can't go tray by tray with themes, but I can finish off a theme and then
And
done.
see, this is where for me sketching helps, because there are times definitely that I do that. Like I can work on 2. Generally my max is 2 if it's like a detailed set. But if I have them, what I have found works for me, if I have them sketched out, and I do like, I mean, chicken scratch stuff, but I have everything labeled of what color this is going to be and like what, like, I may not have the full detailed sketch, but I'm like, I have the image ready for my projector and I'm going to put one down here and one up there. So if I have it detailed out to where I know exactly what's happening with each cookie, then I can, like, that's my creative process, is more like in the sketching and planning of it. And then just the execution's different. Now we've added in this whole like content thing as well that we have to.
People's adding so much texture, transfers, lace. Now it's like, my goodness, it just keeps going.
I know it does. It really does. But yeah, so stay tuned. We will have an episode of just an updated kind of like workflow specific stuff. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the question that always gets asked: how do you know you're charging the right amount? Right here, I know. I think we do need to do another pricing episode, right? Don't we have 2? Do we only have 1 right now?
I think 1.
Okay. So pricing episode right here, pricing guide that you can purchase down below in our comments, or like in the show notes. But really quickly, just, you've got to know the price of your ingredients. That's been all over the map lately. I have not sold cookies in a hot minute. I kind of take the summer off. It's been a minute. I think my last ones were beginning of May, were the ones that I did. And good Lord, things have changed since then. So, for me, I am going to have no problem whenever I do my next pre-sale or whatever, of having the conversation of, guys, the world has changed. Your grocery budget has changed. My ingredient budget has changed, and it's now reflected. I think because people are so used to, they know that groceries are so much more expensive, that everything's more expensive. I don't think it's going to be a shocker that cookies are going to be more expensive. But yeah, know the price of your ingredients is just the base. And it's not just the ingredients, it's also like your packaging materials. But I'm not going to go too much into this because we just really need you to watch that episode. But anything quick to add, Chelsea?
Just if they're right now, with the world being what it is and just so unpredictable in the prices of it, if there's areas that you can cut back, try and cut back. I switched my boxes to the top, like just filled in instead of having a window box, because unless it's a holiday, because custom orders, people are taking them out. They're not displaying them in the box. Not adding a bow on every single box for a custom order has saved. Not adding shred to every package.
Oh, and the laser printer thing you got for your stickers?
Yep.
That's a big one.
You can do that. The thermal printer. Yeah, you can thermal print. Just things like that is where you can cut back without having to, like, if I can cut back on my pricing, then I still make this, or pricing, I'm sorry, on my packaging, then I can make the same product and like the product isn't affected. So are there little things, again, we shared, if you're starting out and you haven't mastered down like your thickness, like how can you make, could you knock it down one rolling pin notch, and how could that get your dough to go more, therefore the cost. So there's little ways to manipulate that that we did not touch on that pricing episode, just because the world changing. So that's what I have to add.
Even too with pre-sales, maybe don't offer as many different designs. You don't have to buy as many cookie cutters, and you can pump out way more of them. And
dude, I got to add this real quick. My 4th of July, you will be so proud of me. And it just was a complete fluke. And I think it's because 4th of July, there's really no color variation in that. I only used 5 colors for all 11 options.
Atta girl.
was really kind of disappointed, but I was like, Melissa would be so
No,
proud.
guys, it's the way to go for pre-sales. It's just the way to go. There's so many things that Chelsea and I agree with on pre-sales, and there's a couple of things that I'm like, girl, you crazy.
I know.
Oh, next. No, love you guys and all the help y'all offer.
Thank you.
So we love you guys too. Let's see. If you could have anything other than time and money, what would you choose?
Health.
That's
good health.
Chelsea. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, now anything I say is going to sound dumb because that was the appropriate
Okay,
answer.
I'll switch my answer. The full-time chef. That's what I want.
Oh, yes. That would be nice.
Yeah. I love cooking, but sometimes I'm like, dude, I just want a good I was watching binging TV shows as I'm working. The Kardashians are now on Hulu, and I stopped watching Keeping Up years ago, so I didn't know where it ended. So I'm watching it backwards now.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of the things, it just cracks me up. They're like, do you want chef to make you like a cucumber salad? If anybody watches Keeping Up, you know Kendall Jenner cutting the cucumber was giving you anxiety. So things like that. I was like, how nice would it be just to be like, I just really am in the mood for like salmon and cucumber salad. And it just comes to my
That would
office.
be so nice.
Right? So really I would choose that. I would choose that over a house cleaner.
See, I'm kind of leaning towards cleaner. Because I mean, I know you enjoy cooking, but like I enjoy cooking far more than cleaning. Right now we have we do cleaners every 2 weeks, but I only have them do like they don't touch the cookie room and they don't touch the upstairs. So I was just trying to be like cost effective, and I'm like, I can handle the upstairs, but like, yeah,
like the main area house.
The main area house, yeah,
that makes sense.
What they handle. But yeah, cleaners that do like the laundry. I know some people have cleaners do their laundry, and I'm like, wait, what? Yeah,
I do
handle all that stuff. That would be great. I would enjoy that.
Oh, I'll add another one.
Or somebody to do all of my packaging.
You're so funny how much you do not like your packaging.
I despise packaging.
I don't like dough making. I do not like to make dough.
I know you don't. You don't.
Yeah, that's why I
Which is ironic given your name.
I know. Should have thought of that. I wasn't in the game long enough.
Okay. Food ideas for busy week.
Oh my gosh. We do. What is your favorite? What's your go-to?
Whoever asked this, hopefully we're planning on having some good stuff for you guys coming up on holiday time. Go-tos. I love my air fryer. Love an air fryer. We do like pre-marinated pork tenderloins in the air fryer, like stick it in there 20 minutes, you're done. I actually have it right here next to me. This is like a really wonderful filling kale salad. Meal prepping lunches is huge because if I don't, I tend to just like snack and then I'm hungry by like 3 or 4. And then it's just a ripple effect. Smoothies are great. Crock pot. I'm just crock pot and air fryer. Those are our big ones. You?
I love my crock pot. This week is a holiday week for me, so it's all crock pot meals, except for tonight because we didn't make it on Sunday. Tommy's making fajitas. Find a husband that can cook. Just kidding. That could be a great. No, crock pot definitely. I love some soups, like because they're just easy. So like last night we did the tortilla soup, and it makes for a great leftover. Also, not so much in the summertime because it's hot AF, but in the fall and winter, we use our smoker outside. So it can smoke like a ton of meat at one point. So if we smoke like different types of chicken or like some type of roast, then you can shred it. And like, then that can go towards chili. It can go to shredded tacos. It can go to, so it just kind of speeds up the process. And then always just having that container of some type of protein already cooked just to reheat. On times I'm like, I don't really want to cook, but at least I have a meat already done and then grab some vegetables. So that is really good. The overnight oat jars for the morning.
Ooh, yum.
So just putting those together makes it really simple for anybody to just grab and go. Or if you have to drive, if you're taking the kids to school and you have like a little bit of a commute, it's just in a little mason jar so you can eat it
Yeah.
as you go. I hate, and I don't like that word, but I do, yogurt. Like, will not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Interesting.
My family loves it. So they like the little.
Do you like sour
yogurt.
cream like on your tacos or fajitas or anything?
Yeah. And I had to grow as a child. I would not touch it. As an adult, I'll do that. But yogurt, I won't even do a smoothie that has yogurt in it. Like,
you can taste it that much?
yes.
This is
and
me
it's
with
like,
bananas. Can't do it.
oh my gosh, absolutely no. Like, and it was so hard as when my kids were younger. I'm like, I'm going to feed you yogurt because like the Greek yogurt and stuff. And like when it got on you and how parents are like, oh,
yeah.
Nope, you smell like yogurt. So my kids would eat yogurt and take like a straight bath. I'm like, you cannot smell like this.
That's too funny.
Yeah. So just things like that are pre-prepped ahead and easy to do. Yeah. Makes it fun.
Do you think you're going to do, we've talked about this before of like joking that, you do freezer meal parties or potlucks and things
we were
like
talking
that before like
that.
somebody has a baby or whatever. We're talking about needing to do that during our Super Bowl cookie season.
Yes. I actually just reached out. Yeah, my mom and my best friend, my aunts and stuff, we were like, the idea is to kind of just each focus on like a meal or two. Like my mom makes the most amazing homemade lasagna. But when you can buy things in bulk and like just focus on batching a huge and then separating it. So it's like if you bring that and I don't know, soup or something like that, that can be frozen.
Yeah.
And then somebody else bring it. So each person's like a cookie exchange that you do at the holidays, but with food. So then you have freezer meals that you get a variety of food because we all kind of get locked into eating the same thing. So
smart. I love that idea.
No, we're doing that this fall because my garden, I can grow some veggies.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But stay tuned. We plan to have plenty of like helpful things. That's what we love. Bringing you guys helpful stuff, especially during busy seasons.
Yes.
What camera, lighting, etc. do you use for your cookie making reels? This one's mine. I think we both have our stuff on our Amazon favorites, right?
I don't know if I have that. I have that same ring light that you have.
Honestly, natural sunlight too, I feel like is.
My reels, I don't like when I use the ring light. It looks different for me. I always just do it in front of a window. Like right now I'm in front of a window. My cookie room, I always do it in front of the window.
Yeah. We're not afraid of filters. We don't do crazy filters, but ones to just kind of soften stuff,
Melissa and her eyelash filter.
Yeah, will forever be. Because you guys know that somebody reached out to Chelsea and they're like, hey, we'd love to offer you maybe like some eyelash extensions. I was like, where are these people in Frisco offering me eyelash extensions?
I know.
Chelsea has the most gorgeous natural eyelashes.
I'm fidgeting with this, you guys, because my eyelashes stick to this. So I'm like trying to pull like the thing without being.
Well, you know what? I can reach things on a top shelf.
You guys, tell us do you ever think about like, oh, I never realized that person was that tall or that short? Like it's funny to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like online, I'm like, everybody looks so tall in this. And then I hear, I'm like, oh, wow, you're a lot shorter. You're a lot taller than I expected. Melissa's a lot taller than I expected.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'8".
I'm 5'3.5".
Yeah, you're 5'3.5".
5'4.5" on a good day. I pushed that extra inch.
I know. I'm not quite sure if I'm at the 8 mark anymore these days, but I'm trying to do my stretches.
Yeah, I round up to 5'4" because
and it feels weird to do a half. It's like saying your age is like I'm
like I'm not 5'3", but I'm not like 5 full on 5. So yeah, I'm just it depends. I'm 5'4". We'll put that. So yes, but it's always funny to me.
Okay, one more here, and then I think we had one from a Patreon, right?
Yes, I think so.
Do you have that one pulled up?
I can pull it up. Go ahead.
Oh, here.
You can do the next one. Got it.
Okay, so final one from our Instagram folks is, how do you handle banking and taxes? It's paralyzing to me. So again, this was one of our like first episodes up here.
I think so.
We should probably have her on again. So we did an interview with, let's see, you conducted
Molly.
that. I was on vacation.
Yes,
So,
Molly, we did a tax interview with, just kind of like your basics of things. So that's always good to know. As far as handling banking and taxes and all of that stuff, track everything is the best advice if you're just getting started.
QuickBooks is the way to
Yes,
go.
I
Yeah.
converted Melissa.
Two big things I would say. Make sure you have a banking account and credit card just for your business. And then to QuickBooks, you guys, it's so worth it. It's so easy. It's like a little game. Anytime I go somewhere,
People thought I was crazy on this. They're like,
no,
no one has time for QuickBooks. And then now that you've used it, it's
it
like, why
makes
wasn't I
it
using
so
this?
easy.
Yeah, you guys,
Sponsor
it's
us,
QuickBooks. I know, right? It is a QuickBooks Small Business. And instead of you keeping all your paper receipts, because if you don't know, the thermal receipts that you get from like the grocery store, they fade. So in the amount of years you have to keep them, they won't be there anymore. So if you take a picture, you can upload it directly into the app. It stores all of your information. It can categorize it. So come tax season, it makes it really easy. And then it also gives you an estimation of what your taxes are going to be. So you can also start setting money aside on that. That is something that I do recommend, is setting money aside for taxes. You can gauge, I know some people do 10%, some people do upwards of like 20%.
Yeah,
so
just every
just
order.
if you
I think that
that
you
is
do it really smart too. You actually have two bank accounts. So you have like
yes.
main one, and then you have one for taxes that you just like slide stuff in so you don't get like anxious or confused or anything.
And I don't log into that one ever, so I do not know how much is in there.
It's like your 401k. Like
right. Because then I don't know. I'm like, oh crap. But then at the end of the year, if I don't have, like, I don't use all the money, then that is your, like, can be your tax return. So, or I just, truthfully for me, I just roll it over to the next year because I never know what's coming down the pipeline, i.e. the world. So
yay.
What is our Patreon?
Our Patreon question. Oh, it's about the ovens. So she has steam oven, convection oven, gas oven, electric oven. I'm upgrading and I've read so many opinions. Would love to know your preference. We have an electric. We have a GE electric, but it has the ability to do like convection. I'm going to have to try the convection again now that you're speaking so highly of it. So tell us your opinion. You said it's night and day.
It is. I have a double oven. They're not like stacked on. I was playing with my hair. They're not like stacked on top of each other. So I have one like underneath my stovetop and then one off to the side by my microwave. And so the one that is connected to my stove is electric. I think the oven is electric. The stovetop is gas. So I've never worked with the gas actual oven.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
And I haven't worked with I've seen a steamer, but I've never steamed the cookies.
Yeah.
I don't know how that bakes. I don't know enough on that topic to speak. Yeah. But I do have my one in the wall by the microwave. It's only regular oven, electric oven. And then the other one is you can switch between convection, all of that. So I do one section convection and one section bake because the convection oven, the airflow in it, so it helps to try and cook more evenly.
Do you do all 3 trays at one time?
Yes. Yeah, I have 6 altogether that I can put in my 2 ovens. So I can bake 6 trays at once.
Yeah.
With the convection, it does brown them a little bit quicker because of the airflow and stuff for the baking. At least in my experience, this can be totally different. Every oven is different. But you can rotate your pan halfway through and it just gives you more of an even bake on it. I don't have the Chua, I think it is, mats that everybody loves. I don't have those. I just bake on parchment paper. Yeah. So yeah, I like mine. I like both of those. I think mine's Whirlpool. Can you tell me what the bottom of that says? I've got a kid now. They're awake. Mine are Whirlpool. I didn't get to choose them. It came with our house build. So I will say Demi Cookie Co.
Yes.
Yes, she has the powerful ovens. So maybe follow some people like that.
Yeah.
I know she did a whole little segment on hers.
Yeah. We moved into this house. We didn't build our house, so we didn't get to choose them either. But I will say my parents have built, I think they've built they've moved. So whenever they move, they build houses.
Yeah.
And she was so excited when I told her ours is a GE monogram. It's a double oven as well. She's like,
Mhm.
oh, monogram, that's our favorite one. And she's like, we choose that over like the super high end like ones. It's so GE monogram is
There you
ours.
go.
And so apparently it is a decent one because she's a cook as well. So
There you go. Hopefully
yeah.
that helps.
I think those are the questions we got. So we love to do these every now and then. So feel free to drop some more questions down below. Keep up with us on Instagram because we'll throw these up and you never know when we'll pop up for one.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I am Chelsea with Rolling in the Dough AZ.
I'm Melissa with Missy P Sweets. May your cakes never be dry.
And your icing be shiny and crater free. Have a great one, guys.